We are only a short time away from Starfield, Bethesda's first new IP in over 25 years. Instead of the medieval fantasy world of the Elder Scrolls, or the radiation-soaked wasteland of the Fallout series, Bethesda is instead taking it to the stars with a sci-fi setting. Now, while I personally prefer swords and castles over lasers and starships, I do very much like the idea of interplanetary exploration. Mass Effect really hammered that nail into my head from a narrative perspective, and then you have games like No Man's Sky that gives a player a sense of vastness and discovery. Going to some random planet and scanning local flora and fauna to find out what's truly out there. These two games serve as the most common comparisons for Starfield. And while I think these are great games, I think there is another game that is a much stronger comparison that I don't see a lot of people talking about. This game set the gold standard of space exploration for me, while also providing enough unique mechanics to differentiate itself from the big boys. I love this game so much that I got its logo permanently marked on my body as my first tattoo, and I can't find a more fitting time to talk about this game. This is Starbound. One of the strong points that's been shown about Bethesda's Starfield is that you essentially have multiple games combined into one. If this turns out to be true on launch, then you could theoretically ignore the main quest and all the dialogue and stuff and just run around the galaxy robbing people and stealing their ships. You could spend the whole game just building settlements and finding people to inhabit them. You could hot rod spaceships if you want and spend the whole game doing that. This whole idea of doing something other than just going to planets and blasting aliens with lasers is really appealing to me, and I, like many others, are patiently waiting for this space RPG to release. But then I remembered Starbound, and I thought back to when I really got hooked into this game and dumped almost 500 hours into it, easily making this one of the most played games in my Steam library. While it may lack some of the features that are promised with Starfield, Starbound still checks a lot of the same boxes, and I'm personally using Starbound as a reference for how Starfield shapes up, and here's why I think you might want to as well. When beginning the game, you'll immediately notice that you have quite a lot of character customization features and a sizable roster of races to choose from. You have the Glitch with their medieval armor styles, you have the Hylotl, a Japanese-themed fish-type race, the Scientific Poindexters that are the Apex, the Mesoamerican-themed avian race, the Rootin' Tootin' balls of space gas that are the Nova Kid, and the sentient piles of Amazonian weeds that are the Florins. Once you create a character, you get the option to play the opening, which has your character graduating as a member of the Protectorate, a group of galactic peacekeepers. However, your graduation goes south because giant fucking tentacles disrupt the graduation and promptly destroy Earth. After barely managing to escape, you wake up in a broken ship with just enough power to beam you down to a nearby planet. The main story of Starbound is basically figuring out why the tentacles exist and how you can prevent them from causing further damage. Once you beam down onto the planet, you'll have the ability to explore around, aided by your ship's AI assistant, Sail, which normally looks like this, but mine is an avian because I'm using a mod. While exploring, you'll likely come across a mysterious device that requires core fragments, found either by digging into the planet's core or exploring a nearby mine. How you get the core fragments is up to you, but once you obtain them and use them on the device, you'll open a portal to the Outpost, which will basically serve as Starbound's version of the Citadel. You can accept quests, trade and sell items, and eventually get some high-tech upgrades, which I'll go over more about later. The central hub is also where you'll be continuing the main story, which has some special scripted missions, but will mostly have you exploring the galaxy in search of objects belonging to each race. Exploration will be the meat and potatoes of Starbound, as you start the game with a matter manipulator, an incredibly useful tool that you can use to dig blocks in mine, paint tiles, collect liquids, light up the environment, connect electronics through wires, and scan objects for further information. Now, you're probably familiar with scanning stuff in No Man's Sky, which isn't the best part of the game. However, Starbound is unique in this regard, as each race has their own unique description of the items that they're scanning. Through these item descriptions, you'll learn more about your character's culture, speech patterns, and small tidbits of lore. It adds so much character to the races, and it makes multiple playthroughs a lot less boring. As you can see, almost all of Starbound's mechanics and themes revolve around player exploration and player agency, so naturally, the game has the same open-ended approach when it comes to combat. Starbound shares a combat system similar to Skyrim's, where the player can use whatever one-handed item they want in whatever hand they want. Maybe you want to blast at mutants with a machine pistol while simultaneously healing yourself. You have the classic sword and board combo, but why not spice it up by using a grenade launcher instead? How about dual-wielding grappling hooks and swinging around around the outpost like you're Spider-Man. The possibilities are endless, but don't worry, two-handed weapons aren't left out either. While you have the flexibility of whatever one-handed weapon you want, two-handed weapons will all have unique random skills that are also pretty powerful. I didn't know I wanted a flamethrower claymore, but Starbound has a flamethrower claymore, and it's about as badass as you think it is. Skills can also include a heat-seeking missile for rocket launchers, assault rifles with underbarrel flashlights, grenades and cluster bombs, shotguns that spray clouds of noxious gas, electric staves that spawn balls of electricity to follow your mouse cursor. The list goes on and on. You also have a bunch of throwing items you can find, like ninja stars, throwing knives, and balloons full of lava. Be careful with those. I've only scratched the surface of what you'll be coming across, but your choices aren't just limited to your weaponry. As you explore the galaxy, you'll find tons of upgrade materials, not only for your matter manipulator, but for your ship and your body. That's right, Starbound has been doing cybernetic implants long before Cyberpunk. Okay, maybe not that cyberpunk, but you know what I mean. Players can jump, dash, and transform into a ball. The player can also augment these three abilities with the use of tech cards that they can find in various containers. While it's not crazy, you can swap out your double jump with rocket boots, do small blink teleports instead of short dashes, or do a sonic spin dash whenever you transform into a ball. Why the fuck is this a game mechanic? Now you're probably shaking your screen in anger because I just glossed over a very important feature. What's that? Starbound has ship customization? Yes. No. While you can't really change out the parts of your ship like Starfield, apparently, Starbound lets you freely decorate the interior of your ship and place almost whatever you want in it. Every race has their own unique style of ship, and as you increase the size of your space crew, you'll get the ability to upgrade your ship license and increase the size of your ship. You can make your own settlements and fill them with NPC villagers on the planets you beam down to, but you can also just use your ship as your base and take it with you as you explore those planets. Which brings us to the progression of the game. The main gameplay loop of Starbound involves warping down to a planet, exploring the planet for manipulator upgrades, mining special ores, and using those ores to craft stronger equipment. The most important equipment being your environmental protection pack, which not only acts as your oxygen supply, but lets you land in more dangerous star systems in order to mine stronger ores. Those stronger ores let you create stronger EPP upgrades, and rinse and repeat until you get to the most dangerous star systems. It's a fairly simple gameplay loop, and it will have you exploring a diverse range of planets, from lush forests to frozen icescapes to even a planet that's entirely covered in toxic sludge with not much else to explore. While exploring these star systems, your ship is likely going to run out of fuel, which you can refuel by visiting any of the moons in the system. But be careful, as there's a fucking purple slug ghost that absolutely fucking obliterates you if you nab too much of his precious fuel. So be careful. Yeah, all of this exploration is cool and all, but what good is exploration if you don't have a space crew to explore the universe with? Well, Starbound has you covered there too. As you comb through each star system, you're going to come across many NPC villages, whether that be an underwater Hyloto colony, an underground Apex rebel camp, or an avian airship hovering in a sky. Oh shit, dude, fucking meteor shower, what the fuck? Some of these NPCs will sell you items, but many of them will offer you quests. They're pretty straightforward fetch quests or escort missions, but if you complete them, there's a chance that the NPC will become available to hire for your crew. As you hire more crewmates, you'll get the opportunity to expand the size of your ship through the ship upgrade modules that you've been collecting, also allowing you to hire more crew members. These crew members aren't just for aesthetics though, as you can have them follow you down to whatever planets you explore and provide backup. You can also provide your own backup by beaming down to planets in your very own mech. While there is no conventional space dogfighting in Starbound, you instead launch into space in your own custom mech to raid enemy ships, embark on mining expeditions, or make contact with friendly ships and galactic trading posts. You can swap out every part of your mech, and exploring space anomalies in enemy ships will reward you with blueprints to craft bigger and better weapons and mech parts. And yes, you can give your mech a drill, because who the hell do you think I am? Collecting mech parts can be loads of fun, but it's also what you collect outside of your mechs that makes the exploration of Starbound even more rewarding. The universe is vast, and with it, the items that you'll be discovering on your journey. I've mentioned a couple of things already, like weapons, upgrades, mech parts, and stuff like that, but there also exist tons and tons of cosmetic items for you to find and collect, like hats, costumes, toys like squirt guns, and an ominous tentacle thing. My favorite things to find though are functional musical instruments. Any instrument can be used to bring up a songbook, and playing that chosen song will play a MIDI file of that instrument. If you've ever wanted to hear what canon in D sounds like on a steel pan, well, here you go. Playing an instrument solo will give you a solo arrangement, but you can also synchronize your instruments with other players and literally create a band or orchestra. Here's a performance of All Star by Smash Mouth in the mariachi style. Now obviously I'm using a mod here that adds some extra songs to the song list, which segues perfectly into another strong point about Starbound, and that is its modding community. Starbound has an insane modding community. Pretty much everything you see here can be modified to some degree, and if there's something missing that you were wanting to see, chances are there's a mod that can add it. You have everything from new custom races, ship designs, weapons, toys, planets and biomes, entirely new star systems, crafting recipes, and the list goes on. One of the most popular mods for Starbound is the Fracking Universe mod, which basically doubles the insane amount of content already available in the game, so if you're looking for something new to spice up a new playthrough, definitely check this one out. Not only does it provide a ton of unique planet biomes, but it also implements a build your own ship system, so you can actually build your own ship from the ground up without having to just make do with whatever pre-built ship you're given in vanilla. And that's about it for Starbound. I've only scratched the surface of what you'll be discovering on your journey, so if you like what you see, go over to the Steam store and pick this game up. The game costs only about $15, which I feel is an absolute steal for the amount of content you're getting, and I hope Bethesda's Starfield will provide a similar experience to this game. If you want to get my scoop on Starfield when that game releases, then subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the future. I'll definitely be posting my thoughts on it. Star.